All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome for our let me turn on my camera as well. Hopefully it's working. Again, good afternoon and welcome for our weekly webinar. Today, what I'd like to go over is two topics. The first one is how you set up CGAR cutting plotter for Windows directory driving system via USB and Ethernet cable. The second topic is regards to the tiling function for our RasterLink 6. So there are some limitations to for the job attribute in order to use a tiling function. So I'd like to go over that the topic today. So to begin with, regards CGAR series, how you connect and output from Windows driver. First of all, let me introduce something regards the CGAR series. CGAR series, which is CG60AR and CG100, 130AR, those product was released from Mimaki, Australia in later June 2022, which is a purely replacement product of CG 60 or 130 SR3 series cutting plotter, which is there are 2 points of the in general the benefit. The first, it is an affordable, very affordable cutting plotter. For CG60 SR3 or new AR desktop cutting plotter, 24 inches wide, 60 centimeters. It is a price point between $1,800 to $2,000 for USD. For Australia, the recommended retail price is about $2,400, right? It is a little bit more expensive than our competitors who makes a 40 centimeters cutter for craft applications. However, there are lots of the benefit for this. Also, comparing to a high-end side, the high-end European cutters for a same size, it is about half of the price. For the price matter, it is very affordable and it is in a good spot of the product portfolio. But what's included in this 2,400 Australian dollars is important. Of course, it comes with a cutting plotter. Also, you have access to 3 different softwares. Starting from Fine Cut. Fine Cut is our our legacy software for cutting plotter, which you need to install as a plugin to Adobe Illustrator or CorelDRAW. However, it automatically extract the or either convert or extract the cutting line over your design work for vector format. Also, it's directly installing a USB cutting driver onto the cutting plotter at the same time as installation, and it's sending job straight ahead to the cutting plotter. We have second software which is called Simple Pop. The Simple Pop is a standalone software in case you do not have the Adobe Illustrator because your business is still small to buy the $2,400 worth the yearly subscription software or monthly subscription software. That way you can start with cut directly from a standalone software, which is a Simple Pop. The third one, which is the most important, is the Windows driver. Windows plotter driver you can download from our software, our website, and the Windows driver lets you design something in Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, as well as there are some of the CAD software for which supports Windows. So you can draw the line and you can specify the color of the line, and you can basically cut to the CGAR series directly without no involvement of the additional software. So from out of the box, those software access comes with it, or as well as the one full license and access to the those softwares. We also have more than 60, probably close to 100 different video already exists in YouTube. So if you want to just deliver tomorrow from Mimaki or Mimaki research and would like to install and plug in, the plug and play, well, you just need to buy a USB cable from somewhere else because unfortunately the cutting plotter does not come with USB cables. However, as long as you have the access to install by yourself and connect with software, with your printer, with your computer by yourself, then it's basically ready to go. You don't need to call up Mimaki technician to have the installation support and so on. For 100 AR, well, in Australia, we do not have the market for 100 centimeters the range. And the price difference between 6 to 130 is not too much. So we do not handle 100 AR in Australia. For 130 AR, which is 1.3 meters, well, effective size is 13.7 meter, which to support the 1.37 meters of the standard width vinyl from the standard from Sign Graphics market. And it's a 130 centimeters chord and 54 inches wide. So 130 AR is, as you can see on this photo, it comes with a leg, the stand, and it can hold the printed vinyl or roll of the vinyl as long as it's less than 15 kilos. It's hold it, and you can continuous cut, or you can do cut over the print on this continuously with these constructions. 130 AR is also very affordable pricing. For Australia, the product only 4,500 Aussie dollars plus freight. So it is about half of the price of our the standalone high-end cutter CGFX2 Plus series. So it is very affordable if you are starting the cut letter, sign, computer cut, sign display, cut work, then it is, the must-have, one of the must-have product. All right, regards to this, one of the benefit of this, the CGAR series, is regards to Windows driving, Windows direct driving. So in order to use that, go to download from website and look under the driver and the utility. So we have Mimaki driver version 5.6 something. Also, in addition to that, CGAR window plotter driver. And the Mimaki firmware updater. How we determine which one to use is either if you're using either the software of fine cut or the simple pop, that you need a Mimaki driver to run through to the USB port to the from software USB port to a CGAR, or even with the Ethernet control from those software. This is what you need to install Mimaki driver. When you are sending the job as the standard printer from Windows standard software, the CGAR Windows plotter driver, this is what you need to the install and drive. All right, let me show you what's going to happen when you download and install. I am downloading now, so go to download. Make sure you've got supported Windows 10 or 11. And again, this Windows driver, Windows plotter driver is only applicable for currently the newest CG60 or 130 AR series. Right, go to download and just straight to execution of the Windows driver. It's expanding, or sorry, it's opens unzipping the Windows plotter driver into a desktop automatically, and it opens the menu to set up. Or I click on whatever the whichever 32-bit or 64 bits to to have depends on your computer. Once you click that, so it's basically pops up the standard procedure of registering the printer, the network or local printer into your computer. So it doesn't matter if you have the USB or the Ethernet connection. Just choose the bottom, add a local printer and network printer with a manual setting, and go next. Here, what you have is the it's different from the choice. If you have USB hookup, because if it's USB hookup, USB connecting, this list already shows the the CG60 or 130AR in the list. So choose the USB connection if you have. I do not have USB connection at this moment, so mine don't have it. But as long as you plug into the CG60 or 130AR via USB, it should show it. But in case you do not see it, even it's connecting, please install Mimaki Mimaki driver in addition to the Windows Prota driver. In case if you are connecting over the Ethernet cable, doesn't matter if it's a direct or indirect, you do not need you will not see anything showing a CG AR series on the list. So just click on LPT1, which is the default, and go next. All right. In either selection, the USB or the Ethernet, you should have this choice in here, CGAR series. And go to next. In case you'd like to replace the existing one, just click the next, click the second menu, replace the current driver. But if you are setting something in addition or something brand new, use choose the top one and go next. And this printer name is what you're supposed to see on the when you run the job from the Microsoft Word or Excel as a printer name. So you just put a unique printer name, such as I recommend CGL series USB or just the local area network output, just to identify easily. If you have more than 2 products to connect, just to say either the serial number or -1, -2, -3, -4, whatever you can identify. I just put a USB to begin with, just for fast setup for USB. All right, at this moment, okay, I've got a different name here. So I just say USB 2. Next. Just always choose do not share this printer, because once you set up Windows driver, it is not network sharing for the other computer. So it's only one computer can connect to the one computer can directly connect, and no PC is allowed to connect by another PC, if you know what I mean. But just say do not share this printer to anyone else. But if you have a different computer to connect by Ethernet, you can do same setting. This setting, do not share this printer, means that no one can share this printer by this computer. That's all it is. All right, successfully add the plotter. That's fine. And then once you've done that, what we do a test is from Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Word. What I'm doing is insert and just do a quick shape of the sun and a quick shape of the where did we go? Quick shape of the moon. All right, once you make that, just be careful about these the colors, because there are there are lots of their color configurations already set up as their cut condition within their product driver for AR series. But this default default color we have in here, I have in here specifically for the dark blue, whatever it's called. It wasn't registered in the beginning, so I need to convert this to the black color, just for nothing else, nothing inside, and just a black, which is the RGB000. Because there is no CMYK value for the this configuration from Microsoft application directly sent over to the plotter. So it's all done by the color configuration is all done by the RGB. And this one too. Once you set up the object, so you just go Control P for the printing. So for printing, I've got USB 2. Well, since it's not connecting, it's just the error message. It's just the error. But however, while it's connecting, you can just print. And cutting plotter will that should work normally, right? But in case you set up, let me just do go over do it again for the well. This driver install, you just need to do only one. And if you want additional setting, you just can go to the, from a print menu. From print menu and add the printer. For adding printer, you just go to, it automatically opens the printer and scanners, the property. So just do add. And doesn't matter if you connect or not, because I haven't set this specific the Ethernet connection CGAR series yet. So just say the printer that I want wasn't listed. So then you can just go to the the manual creation, which is the default menu of the driver installation. But again, driver was installed in drivers was installed in the first installation, so you do not need to install again the driver. So add local printer or network printer from here. All right, go next. All right. Now, what I'm doing now is how you configure the Ethernet connecting CGAR. Okay, I will do from LPT1 printer port. Go next. And then it will show the the manufacturer which are not connecting, but this display in Windows basically says that which driver has been installed into this the computer. So we've got the Epson. I have some the driver already installed in the Epson for home printers, and we just go Mimaki and select the CGAR series, and go next. Yes, user driver is currently installed, which is fine. At this moment, what I'm going to do is just run -2 for just a testing for the printer name, and do not share this printer. And successfully installed. Okay, finish. Or I just go back to the the print output. And there is a printer already, the printer which is on run-2 already existing. But if you send it now, it won't happen anything, because the reason is that we just registered the printer name, but we do not set up the IP address for the Ethernet connect for the Ethernet printers. So we need to go extra step. Again, this all step is in the manual of the CGAR cutting plotter download manual, and there is plotter driver operation manual. So if you have any question, just download it. It's like the certain pages which is important, but it tells you step-by-step operation, including what I'm telling you now. All right, what I'm doing next step is the do not send print yet, but just go back to the printer and the scanner property from Windows, and just select the CGAR for the Ethernet connections, which I created. Click on Manage, and go to printer property. And click port. All right, the printer port LPT1 is already set up to the Mimaki CG AR series run 2, which is fine. Then we just go configure port. Sorry, not configure, add the port. Make sure you highlight this LPT1 and click add port. That way, what's going to happen is it tells you what's the type of the port to add into or register into the LTP1. Choose standard TCP IP port, which is required for the Mimaki's specific Ethernet connection configuration. And click new port. All right, it goes to the new port configurator. Click next. This is what's important. So you need to tell what's the IP address, which you can find from CGAR cutting plotter. In a CGAR cutting plotter, you just go function setup, and you don't need to be in a service mode. Just go function setup. There is a network setup menu, and you can find what's the specific IP address your cutting plotter has as automatic generation, and you just type the same IP address in here and click on next. All right, let me just input what's the dummy IP address I've got from last week. 169.254.104.164, right? Well, the reason it says the -2 is because I tested more than twice, so it just have more numbers. But I click on next. Well, at this moment I don't have anything connecting in Ethernet, so well, it's just existing. But if this is your first time to set up, let me put 3 instead. So it's just automatically start looking at the device on your network, which has the same IP address. All right. After this, then you have the one more things to set. So I think you can. I think just to be easy, let me just show you what's in this document for the last one step. Where's the page? Okay, this page in here, which is what I'm talking about. When you're connecting the PC with a plotter via LAN cable. So you need to open the printer property and click the port you are choosing and add port, and select standard TCP. Just magnify this standard TCP. Click next and enter the IP address from a cutting plotter and click next and click finish. And close the TCP standard TCP port setting. And after that, you need to click the configured TCP port and click on configure port. And this is most important part. That must not be forgotten. Enter 11110 for the port number, right? How you get to it? Let me just try again. How you get to here? Go to printer property, configure port. I don't think it's showing for me, so I need to have the plotter connecting for me. But anyway, just enter the port in the port setting. 1110, 11110, this is what you should not forget to put. And after you click apply and close, that's a necessary step. After that, you can normally select the cutting product which you just configured and send print. So it will just plug and play, and it's start cutting the job you sent. Well, I will take a question after the session. All right, next one, what I'd like to go for the regards to the tiling function. If you do not know what tiling is, it is basically, for example, if you need to do the job for the big signage, 3.2 meters wide and 2.5 meters tall, but you only have the either 1.6 meters or 1.3 meters of the printer, or you only have the vinyl or media, which is less than the actual object size. So you actually need to print like separate, the separate parts for more than two separate parts in order to put together, in order to make the tiling job for more than two pieces put together. So this is what we call as a tiling. Before we go to actual the operation regards to a tiling, what I want to show is what's the limitation regards to the tiling function. I just need Mimaki Australia's website to show you the RasterLink. Well, there's no difference for the tiling functions. I will just go 6+, which I'm most used to it, and go to manual and open the manual for RasterLink 6+ reference guide. The reference guide tells you everything, like for each the features of the software, what's limitation, what's unlimitations, and so on. At this moment, I will just go tiling function. All right, the tiling function using a split printing, the usage of split printing. So, basically, this manual telling you everything like what to follow, how you set for these individual jobs. But then on the end of the section, which is more importantly, you can find the limitation. All right, conditions unavailable for tiling. Well, you cannot perform tiling for the job with the setting below. First, impose. Impose means that if you are combining more than two different jobs as they are combining to one job, in that case, you can tile it. Step and repeat, which you have one single job, but you do a repeat, step and repeat for like a textile or curtain, like a texture printing, you can do this. Composite job. Composite job is if you combine the color layer and the white layer, color layer and the clear layer, with a special color layer composite job, you cannot do tiling. That means if you have a job from customer that's there, hey, I'd like to fabricate this window. You've got like a 1.2 meters window for 5 pieces, but you want to make a window graphic for one entire job by splitting to the 5 different windows. That and combining with white, you need to do this manually tiling from your artwork side. Artwork side, you need to spread into the 5 different window part for color job, also the white job. And you need to combine those individual job, white and color part together in RasterLink instead of you spreading the part in the RasterLink. But anyway, I was dealing with one of the customer in the Sydney CBD, who is doing window fabrication, or mostly mostly wall decoration fabrication. But when I asked to these people how they doing tiling for one job, anyway, those people for their window fabrication, they already tile using you know using the PDF function in the Adobe Illustrator or CorelDRAW. So there is not really the demand in RasterLink to tile the composed job. When you set number of the copies for normal printing, yes, you can go tiling. Print and cut, of course, you can do a tiling. When you set a register mark for normal printing and look the trimming position is selected. All right, these are the basic functions that you cannot combine with a tiling. Right, just go to the I'm gonna just do a quick demo for how you do the tiling function. So I will select the UCJV 300 full color plus clear the printer as the basic. So we can do tiling with the print and cut job. So I need to load the one of the job for just a color only. So let me just find where I can find the example file. One moment. Let me just hook up my USB memory. One moment, please. What I have. Sorry, I should not show the pricing. Let me see if I've got something. It's simple. Oh, this job is too big, but well, it's just a 200 megabytes, so I should be able to do it. Let me just open one of the customer's job here. All right, I've got Peter Rabbit's job, what you can see here, right? Well, I think it's the multi-page PDF, but anyway, it's just the opens for me only the bottom part, which is still fine, which is still fine. For a tiling job, we never use this general print for the normal printing tool, but we go for this pink 3 lines. This is what we call tiling edit. So we go for tiling edit for this. For tiling edit, to begin with, you just take the tiling edit, right? So now, what you can enter now for editing the tiling job, to begin with, the image edit. The image edit is what you enter, what is the actual job size or design size to be for actual job. Like if this job, well, this job is now only editing to the the 1400 millimeters, right? But for example, this design should go for the 3.2 meters, or let's say 2.5 meters, let's say, like 2500 millimeters. And as long as you doing keeping valid for the orientations, the aspect rate. It just keeps same percentage feed and scan. But what's happening is that it's just changing the entire the ruler size for this job. If you want to rotate now from here, well, you should have done an Illustrator artwork. But if it's too late for you to do, you can make an orientation like this. All right, the second choice, which is work. Okay, the work means that's the actual size of the material. Well, not really size of the material, but the actual how you call like size of the portion you want to make just as a work. So, for example, if you are doing whole graphic as your job, that's fine. Just click a whole image like this. That way, it's just to detect as the full size of the artwork. But sometimes customer would like to just fabricate certain part of the entire image. But customer just wants this the image size, the size of the image to be as in a design, to expand as in a design. But you just that they just want to trim where they want to print. That way you just enter the size of the area they want to print. But in most of the case, if you do a tiling printing from scratch, you just want to print the whole image anyway. So just click whole image. The next, the divided tile. This is importantly that it's telling that what's the size of the media you have. All right, the size of the media you have. It actually max to the 1620 because 1620 millimeter is what printer can take as a maximum on a UCJB 300. That's why it's already maxed out like this. But if you have a media only the 1370 millimeters, well, 1370 millimeters of the media, which effective printing, effective printing area is only a 1340 millimeter. So you just enter 1340 and apply to all tiles. Feed direction, do not worry about unless you are doing printing on a flatbed. If you have a flatbed printer that you need to take care of the size of the media you are printing the tiling, you need to enter scan and feeding. But as long as you have the roll of the vinyl, you only care about scanning, just leave a feed as is. It should take the same size as what's the feeding. The number of the feeding sites of the image. But if you look at the preview on the right-hand side, you can see there's a triangular line happens, and it's divided to the first part is as a 1340 millimeter, and the second part is 1160, which is the rest of the size, 2500 millimeters minus 1340 millimeters will be 1165, 1150, whatever, 1160, right? And you've got automatically the tile quantity, 2 pieces for scan, 1 piece for feed. If you are using the media, like let's say, you have only a CJB 75, CJB 150 75. So maximum of the media size you can take is 820 mil. So effective size is 780 millimeters. Just do that and apply to the tile. So it's automatically divides 780, 780, 780, and rest. What also you can do is instead of it's just taking the full size of the media for 4 pieces, but sometimes you'd like to spread the job to the equal interval. In that case, you can manually move the trigger like this. And if you can, if you wanna just, or you can just divide, I'm not sure if you can do this, but just instead of you enter the tile size, you just enter, the 4 pieces to divide and 1 piece for feeding. Yes, in that case, it automatically divides to 625 millimeters for 4 pieces. So that's basically how you set the tiling, the tiling part against the whole images. What's the benefit or can be in benefit from the WIP software for advantage to provide for tiling software for tiling applications? What's the advanced features, advanced function it has? What RasterLink has is the overlap function, so you can put the overlap automatically. Well, most of high-end graphic WIP software does have this overlap function on as a standard. What's overlap is if you only print those divisions, right? The person who installed these 4 individual pieces on a wrapping will be struggling to have the, no gap for the vehicle body color. In that case, the you or installer of this tiling would like to have a little bit, bleeding of their first job and a little bit bleeding from the second job in order to combine and not to see through the color of the vehicle when having no bleeding, no overlaps. So that way, most of the people either have the overlap on either top or bottom, because you should not have the overlap on top and bottom or right and left, because you will need to cut the edge of the one side of the graphic anyway. So most of the sign writer have their standard whether to have the overlap on right side or left side. And you can change the the width, the band size of the overlap. So it does not, show in this preview because the overlap is what automatically the raster link will, will generate from the part of the next tiling to be a part of the first tiling. And the print corner mark and overlap line. This is for convenience for installer, for what kind of mark you need in order to have for the tiling job for the installing. Print option, the tiling number and the cut line. What's important for tiling number is in case if you printed 4 tiles all over, but if you made a mistake for second tile, so you'd like to next time print only second tile, not the whole tiles. That way you can tell what to which tile to print and so on. So this is a function for tile number. Print order. The print order, also what's important is it really depends on the printer and so on. But I will tell you, rather than this, what's important is for also this, if you go to layout window, what you can see is how the job is, aligned. Okay, it's not nested as a default, but you can do nesting if you want to. To do a nesting, you just do free location and nest and rearrange. All right, in that case, its tiles are, it's nesting automatically. And if you want a gap between those, you just do scan and feeding for the space which you want. All right. The thing I want to tell you just the one additional points for this regards to reverse even number job. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Currently we've got the first tile, second tile in the same row, and third and fourth tile in the next row, and they are all positioned as is. But if you tick reverse even numbers column, what's happening is this. It's rotate 180 degrees for second tile and fourth tile. I'm telling you the reason why it's doing this. The reason is because if you print, full size for the eco-solvent printer, it's happening mostly for eco-solvent printer and less happening for the UV LED printer. Because eco-solvent printer or latex printer has got the heater element on the print pattern and dryer pattern, and across the heat element across the pattern is a little different, up to 5 to 8 degrees. So that way, if you have a pattern size like this 1.6 meters, but if you set only a 1.2 meters of the media, so rest of 50 centimeters is open space. So there's a lots of air sucked through to that open space, which results that the temperature of the right side and left side of the media is slightly different. What's happening is while printing with eco-solvent or latex ink, which is more temperature sensitive for the colors, you will have the slightly different color on the right side and left side. Which means if you make the if you make the tiling, let's put it like this. If you make a tiling, first and second is fine. But the left side of the second tile and right side of the third tile will be put together by an installer. But if it's a different position of the pattern, the color is slightly different. So after you install into the vehicle or bus wrapping, you can see the border between second tile and third tile pretty clearly because there's a different color existing. That is the reason why, for example, we've got the no nesting here. Yeah, if you do no nesting, the left of first tiling and right of the second tiling will put together, but it's a different position of the pattern, so you can see the color difference. However, if you do reverse the even column, that way you will have the left side of first column and right side of the second column, the second tiling is printed in almost the same position of the pattern. That means the color will stay more equivalent comparing to printing in a totally different size, different position of the pattern. If you compare the second tile and third tile, the right side, which is the left-hand side of the image, is printed with the same position of the right-hand side of the third tile. So which also makes the very similar color because it's printing in the same position of the pattern. So that means every border of the tiling between tile and tile will have a less gap of the color when you put together. Right, after you do the nesting, if you need to, well, mostly when you printing tiling, the nesting is not necessary because you almost using the full size of the media anyway to print a bigger size object than the media size. So I will just do sequential to print. And then once you set the you can put the orange in the center if you want to. And then the rest of the step is the same as the normal printing. You just go for the, the print condition display, quality display, and set up the profile. After you set up the profile, you just go, print output and do rip and print and start printing. All right, that's pretty much for what I wish to cover for today's the webinar. Thanks for listening, and let me stop recording before taking your